civil work will take, several weeks to schedule and then build and everything. So, and so depending on which crews are available, and then what, because for some of this, we bring in our own contractors as well. And so it kind of depends on their availability. If they can do the night work, if they can't, if it's in-house versus contract crews. Again, because most of this is meter work is usually 2 hours max-ish. I think, well, no, these are all meter centers for the pads and the rear. But again, I think if it's more than 2 hours, then we usually go to night work would be my estimate. But there's no project manager on our end. It's just me, and then everything gets scheduled and decided once it goes to scheduling. So there hasn't really been eyes on it as far as actual outage links and all that.
So notifications will go out to everybody on the potential impact prior to us getting this work started. And do we have an anticipated start date?
Yes, so notices should go out once they actually have the outage plans. So that, they'll tell them, okay, yeah, there's going to be an outage on this day, from this time approximately to approximately this time. And then as far as when it's going to start, obviously I think we still need easements signed for the Derby Drive lot and then 2 of the building lots, 2 of the Main Street lots. So we can't schedule anything until we get those back from Boston O'Neill or whoever. I think it's Daigle Electric doing on the city's end. So it depends on when they get that back to us, as well as actually completing all the civil work. Again, the civil work, depending on when we can get, because we obviously grid contractors doing all the work in the street. I don't know what their schedule looks like, how quick they'll be able to schedule it and then get it all done. This is several days worth of work minimum. But again, I can't give a start date.
Okay. Question? So you talked about both 11730 and 11731, correct? I heard.
Is that
the 2 item numbers on? I'm not sure if you have our agenda or not, but that's the Derby Drive, Westland, which you talked about, and then the Pleasant Street, Main Street, Westland.
Yeah.
For to see Parker Street.
Yeah, the 2 to 10 Parker Street one.
Yeah, Parker Street. I mean, some of the work shown on the plan they intermingle because we ended up having to we're feeding the Parker Street job with some of the updates we're doing to our wiring scheme on the Derby Drive job. So I think the only difference or the only additional things are additional conduit in Westland to feed the transformer in the sidewalk that will feed the 2 to 10 Parker, and then we're going to extend the sidewalk out in front of the pad so that way people can walk around it with no problems. And then obviously the conduit going through the sidewalk and then across Main. Again, it's a similar time frame. We don't need any easements for that job. So I think once this gets approved by the city, it'll go to billing, and then whenever the customer pays or sets up a payment plan, however that works, then it'll end up going to scheduling. Again, the scheduling, it'll depend on our civil crews, our civil contractors, depending on their schedule, which I have no idea what that looks like. They might be scheduled in 3 weeks, they might be scheduled in 3 months. I'm not entirely sure. So.
Entertain a motion to approve 11730 and 11731 to commit.
Motion to recommend full approval by the council on both items.
Motion made and and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Hey,
Yep.
while we have you on the phone, because we're on council request, I just wanna understand double poles in the city, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but we have some double poles that are in the city, and we need some of these to be either removed or replaced, sooner than later, and I'm not sure what your role is in that, per se, but, there's some, they're split, they're dangerous, just to walk by some of these poles. And, what's National Grid's plan to work with the other communication people that are tied up on these lines, to get this resolved for the city?
Yeah, so, back in 2017, we came up with the joint use agreement, with Verizon. This comes up a lot at a lot of different towns, and it's a real problem statewide. I honestly, so what we do, according to the agreement, we install poles, Verizon removes them. Whenever we're doing a job where we're either replacing a pole or installing a new one, or removing, or we want one removed, we basically just send them paperwork saying, hey, we want X, Y, Z done on pole 2 on Main Street, and, you guys are attached, or you have third-party attachees, that need to be moved, and the pole butt needs to be taken out. Our crews will go through, we transfer our wires, and then we cut the top of the pole off, which is basically the part that we own. So that old pole, we have no ownership left in, and then our clerk sends that paperwork of notification, to Verizon. They have a clerk on their end that looks at it, and is supposed to send it to their either contractor to get done, or their in-house crews. I don't obviously know how Verizon works on that end, but, that's our process set out by the joint use agreement that was, put forward by the state, and I think it was in 2017. So as far as us doing something, once we have everything that we own off of the pool, there's not much we can do, because it's now not ours. In cases of emergencies, I think there's an emergency line that we have to get, like, if a car hits a pole and it's, actually falling over, I think there's a number, but I think unless it's classified as an emergency, there's not much we can do to make Verizon get off their butt to do something about it. So I wish I could help, because unbelievable. Athol, Leominster, Gardner, it's all over that there's double poles, and I think Verizon is supposed to have town liaisons to you guys for stuff like this, and from what I've heard, they either don't do their job, or they try, and the actual operations groups just don't do it on Verizon. Then I really don't know.
Will, since you mentioned a liaison for Verizon, I've asked this question through other people at Grid, and I haven't gotten an answer. Do you happen to have those contacts?
For Verizon liaison?
Yeah. No. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't even have contacts for Verizon designers. And anytime I've met a telco designer, it's always been an outside contractor on for a DOT job or something. So we don't, or at least my group doesn't have any actual contacts with Verizon. I think the overhead group might have that emergency line for emergency work, and then our clerks have contacts with their clerk. I'm sure there's other contacts, but I'm not aware of what exactly. But you might be able to reach out to our liaison.
I'll circle back with her. I've asked, and I haven't gotten it, but I'll circle back with her.
On another point, how does Comcast play a part in this?
Yeah.
their lines on the pole. Does Verizon push Comcast, or is there any communication there that you're aware of?
It depends on the pole. Sometimes we sole own a pole, depending on, like, if it's just used, if either Verizon's not in the area, or if, for whatever reason, it's, sometimes sole own poles kind of got through the agreement if it was older. And so if the sole own pole, I believe that Grid will contact Comcast and tell them to get their wires transferred. Usually that's a pretty quick process. I've actually had that happen a couple times, where I have our third-party group contact either Comcast or Spectrum, and usually they're out within a week or two to transfer their wires. But if it's joint owned, I'm not entirely sure if Verizon does that or not, because, again, if they're bad responding to us in the cities, I'm sure they're bad in responding to their third-party attachments. So it's I don't know exactly how it can be fixed. I've heard talk about towns looking to fine Verizon poles, because they, by the agreement with the DPU, they only have 90 days to get the poles out of the ground, and as you know, I don't think they've ever met that deadline.
Yeah, there's no fine or, there's no consequences associated with it, it's just a deadline, there's no teeth to it.
No?
Right. So, and I don't know if that's something that the town can impose, or if it can only be done through the state. But like I said, this is an ongoing issue statewide, and I've tried to have, my supervisor, the liaison, try to, find a contact for someone that we can actually talk to, but they keep themselves well hidden behind National Grid.
It's like the Wizard of Oz.
So,
What state agency oversees?
DPU.
yeah, it would be the DP.
You should talk to the DPU to see if we can legally set up fines.
100%. I brought it up probably 3 or 4 months ago.
I'll email city solicitor.
Yeah.
and look into it.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Any other questions? All right.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no
Thank you.
problem. Let me know if anything else comes up. I'm sorry I can't be more help where the double bolts are concerned.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, no.
Every position we go to, no matter what kind of it is, so.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Will, I'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good. Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Yep, same. Council request.
There is a cross item for DPW from public safety. The city solicitor came back and have an updated ordinance for parking ban, and there will be a public hearing Monday at 6:30 before the next council meeting. For the public to have a comment. So if anyone from the DPW wants to come and speak in favor.
And I had a resident request, and it's kind of crosses between both public service and, but for a speed limit sign in the Domino's, in that stretch, we don't have a speed limit sign.
Harper Street?
Yeah. That I'm aware of. I've tried getting we've had the police department put their radar up there, it's just not deterring.
On the newer cars, when they pop up the speed, for whatever reason, it pops to 45 in that strip.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's thickly settled.
100%. I did email you trees on the corner of, I think I emailed you or texted you, trees on the corner of Church and
Yes.
Horsehome.
Yeah, we were telling.
I went by them today, I can shoot you a picture. There's probably they look like they're potentially gonna fall over. Are they gonna hurt anybody? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But their wires are there too, so.
We looked at that, yeah, that's the thing, is that's a National Grid tree, so I'll contact National Grid.
Shocker. I had them on the line.
Yeah,
That being said, thank you guys for all you do. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Now entertain my motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion made second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Excellent.